Hi, I'm Craig, and welcome back to another on-the-road video brought to you by ApplianceVideo.com. Today, we'll be taking a look at this Whirlpool top freezer refrigerator. We will show you how to remove and replace your defrost heater. Now, let's begin your repair. Stop. Before beginning any repair, always be sure to disconnect the power to the appliance. It is also recommended to test the outlet for the proper voltage. The tools you will need for this repair is a small flat blade screwdriver, a number 2 Phillips screwdriver, a 1/4 inch nut driver, a pair of needle nose pliers, as well as a tack puller. To access the evaporator, first we will have to remove the shelving inside. You'll have to push back, lift up, and pull forward. Set it aside. Next, we will have to remove all of these small circle pieces. Use a small flat blade screwdriver, put it in the end, peel it out. Next, we will remove the cover here. This is where your ice maker Molex will be. Take out the screw, slide out, slide the cover inside. Next, use your 1/4 inch around the perimeter where all of the small tabs were to remove the 1/4 inch screws. Start to lift up on the evaporator cover, pull it out, pull out your styrofoam and set it aside. Now that we have the back panel removed, we have clear access to our defrost assembly. There are two main components with your defrost assembly. You have your heater, which goes around the bottom here, as well as the thermostat. Now, the heater turns on, it melts the frost that's building up, allowing it to give the refrigerator proper airflow and to circulate cold air down to the refrigerator section. If you run into the situation where you have a larger block of ice, or you notice that it's extremely frosty and your refrigerator section is not getting cold, the chances are you have a problem with your defrost system. Now there's a couple of things to look at here. First, we will check to see if this is popped. A lot of times when these defrost terminations go bad, it could be popped. You can also cut this off of here and check for continuity through the defrost termination. If it has not went through defrost, you should have continuity on here because it is cold enough. If you do not, then this is probably open and it will not allow it to go through defrost. Now, if your termination is okay and is still not going through defrost, the next thing you'll want to do is test out your heater. And to do so, you can unplug your heater and test between these two terminals, and we should have continuity going through there, anywhere from 3 to 20 ohms. If you do have continuity going through there, chances are it's probably not inside your heater assembly, but if you do not have continuity, then your heater is bad. Now to remove your heater, we will have to remove your styrofoam ducts. Make sure you are very careful. If these are frozen in place, do not try to pry them out. You need them to be in one piece to work properly. So, if it is frozen, make sure you use either a hair dryer or hot water is really recommended, maybe a steamer to loosen them up, to take them out. Set these aside. Next, we need to disconnect the heater. So you will notice there is a bracket going across the bottom that will have to be removed, as well as it comes up with a heater conduit to go down to the drain. You'll need to use a pair of pliers or something to bend the metal at this point to loosen this bracket. And what we're aiming for is for the bottom piece here to be disattached and move aside. You can see how that fell right out. We will do the same to this side. Just move it over, pull out your bracket and set it aside. Next, we will pull out on the top. There's a strain reliever that's holding it on the back wall. Once you have these removed, in theory, the heater should move forward, but we do have to pull this styrofoam at the same time. Be very, very gentle when pulling it out. You do not want to damage it. We will disconnect the ground strap here from the casing. We will gently slide out the other side. Maybe go from the back and push. And remember, these were slid in at the top portions of the evaporator. Now start to take your wiring out of the top. It is a black wire that goes across the top of the unit. Pull out your heater assembly. We will remove your heater conduit. It is held on by 1/4 inch screw. Loosen the screw. Start to bend the conduit and take it off. And set your heater aside. When installing your new heater, match up your old heater where the scratch marks are to reinstall your heater conduit. Slide it on, bend it back, and reattach the 1/4 inch screw. Next, we will start to put the heater in place, but again, you will need this styrofoam in order to get it in place. So slide it in on the bottom where it was previously, move up the styrofoam and start to put it in place. You can see the notched out portion where the wires will go through. This one, the same concept, but we are taking the ground strap with us. Slide it in place. Tug up a little bit just to give us a little bit more room. Slide in your bracket. If it's bent, make sure you straighten it out. Put it into the holding spot. Once you have it in place, start to flex the locking tabs underneath just to lock it in place. Do one side. We'll start to work on the other side. Locking tabs are in place. Make sure your heater conduit is going right down to where the drain hole is. We do need to pull out this ground strap here and clip this back on to the evaporator drain tray. Slide it in, we'll pull up the slack. Reconnect our strain reliever at the top. We will weave the wires up around the evaporator fan motor again, around the back. Make sure the styrofoam is pushed all the way in. Reconnect our heater. Finally, reinstall your styrofoam ventilation. The whole portion will go pointing the evaporator side. Slide in the sides. Followed by the center. Once again, the whole portion is facing the back. Now we can reinstall the back cover. To reinstall your back cover, first we will put in the middle portion. You'll notice it will slide down into the styrofoam and push back. It should line up with the screw holes on the back wall. Next, bring in your back panel. Start to bring it in at an angle, and then slide it back. We'll move this up some. Slide it back in until it drops in place. Push in on the corners. Make sure you can see the screw holes in the back so you're not working blind on there. We'll go go ahead and set a couple of screws in. The bottom ones, make sure you start them by hand because sometimes they do not like to line up. Go through and give them a tighten. Reinstall your 2 middle screws. Next, pull up where your ice maker harness is. We'll guide this through, bring it in at an angle, almost works like a little door. Slide this piece in first, line it up. Start to put in your Phillips screw and tighten. We will go around the perimeter and reinstall these cover tabs. Each one of these will go in. You'll notice it has a spot that protrudes off the side. It will correspond with the notched area on the plastic. Now, when you're putting them in, sometimes this plastic likes to bend. Just be cautious, kind of move it around and get them correctly in place. Just like that. Do the same to all of the others. Next, reinstall your shelving. When sliding it in, it can be rather stiff. When it hits the end, this plastic should flex. Maybe give it a hand and lift it up a little bit, drop it over, and this will complete your repair. Thank you for watching another quality video brought to you by ApplianceVideo.com.